In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to find a 5-number summary, or how we look at measures of the spread. So let's look at some data first of all. Let's count how much data we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 pieces of data. So we can say that n is equal to 11. If you've watched my videos previously, you'll know that there's a way of finding what number piece of data, what position is the center number, the middle number, the median. So if I'll just remind you, to find that position, we take our n, which is 11, we plus 1, 12, divide by 2. The 6th piece of data is our median. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What we see is there are 5 numbers either side of that. Now, in the past, we've called this the median. It has another name. It's actually the second quartile. Now, what that means, a quartile is if you split the data, you've got all your data, you've got 100% of your data. The median is the 50th piece of data. Now, if we separate the data into quarters, we can then find the 25th piece of percentile, which is going to be quarter 1, and the 75th percentile, which is going to be quarter 3. So we can also call the median quarter 2, which is 50% of the data, or our median. So I'm going to just call this quartile 2. We'll put med, because we know that's the median. Okay, now, similar process for the lower quartile. We want to work our way into the middle. Now, there are an odd amount of data this side, which means there is one central piece of data, which is 11. This shows that there are an equal number of data either side. So we would call this the lower quartile. Or you can call it quartile 1 if you're using a calculator, because they split them into calculators. And then similarly up here, 31 is going to be our upper quartile, short UQ, or quartile 3. Now, you should know that to calculate the range of some data tells us a lot about the spread of the data. And the range is calculated by taking the highest number, take away the lowest number. So the highest number is 80 and the lowest number is 7. So 80 take away 7 tells us that our range is 73. That means our data spreads across 73 pieces, or 73 numbers. All right, let's look at this 5-number summary then. So a 5-number summary starts with the lowest, the lower quartile, the median, or quartile 2, the upper quartile, and the highest number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our 5-number summary. So I'm going to just list those because I said we would talk about listing a 5-number summary. 7, 11, 24, 31, and 80. You can also use the 5-number summary to draw what's called a box and whisker plot, and that's in a later video. So now let's talk about breaking this data down into looking at where most of the data is clustered. Or how about we look at where half of the data is clustered? Now, we've already talked about half of the data being the median there. So this half of the data is before the median. This half of the data is after the median. What about if we look at the central middle part? We understand that if this is the 75th percentile and this is the 25th percentile, then there's 50%, half of the data, in between the lower quartile and the upper quartile. This is called the interquartile range. I'm going to write IQR for short. And the interquartile range is the upper quartile, take away the lower quartile. So if I do that, I've got 31, take away 11, my interquartile range is 20. I can now say that half of my data, the middle half of my data, is only spread across 20 numbers, yet 100% of my data is spread across 73 numbers. And that's how you work out the interquartile range. Now, obviously, I had an odd amount of data. If I had an even amount of data, then the median, our second quartile, remember, would be in between 2 numbers. We would have the same situation with our lower quartile and the same situation with our upper quartile. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about the interquartile range.